Hey everyone, and welcome to IG8Live Esports. We're live this evening with SNS Esports Tier 1 for round 9 of 22 for the Singapore Grand Prix. So let's see, we got 16 drivers on the grid so far. Hopefully we do have a few more join on before the end of qualifying. Just getting started actually qualifying 1. I'm seeing something strange for some reason. Let's just have a look, see what's happening. I think that was just a bit of a glitch on my end. I think everything is fine. Alright, so 16 drivers on the grid so far, getting started with qualifying 1, already down to about 16.5 minutes left in the session. So let's see how this session will go. We should start to see some lap times coming pretty soon as everyone does get started with the out laps so far. I'm going to see how competitive the grid is going to be by the time they get finished off with this session as well. I think most every driver can be on the soft test, so probably not going to keep that on just to avoid cluttering up the screen just a bit. So last week was a bit of an interesting race as well, especially with conditions on track. So we're going to see how this week is going to go. We got just about 4 drivers on track right now. I think they might be giving each other some space. Being it's Singapore and a very narrow track around here, they might want to be thinking about doing that as well, just to give each other enough space to get around during the qualifying laps and avoid any potential incidents that might result in a 5-place grid penalty for someone here, which is kind of easy to have happen in this session on this track either way. So let's see what's going to happen with that. I do seem like everyone's trying to give a bit of space between every other car as they get out on track. Seems to be waiting at least about 10 seconds before another car is getting out, so we'll see how that's gonna go. Trying to see who out in front. It looks like Hayden is probably out in front to get started first, so let's have a look on board. Pretty fast lap around Singapore, but still got to be a bit careful with the way they do attempt. Some of these corners, some of the sectors are a bit more difficult than others, so they're going to have to be just a little bit careful in terms of that as well. So let's see how well laps are going to go here. You might be seeing a few invalidated laps, and we might see a few cars being, you might get a DNF in the qualifying session itself, but we'll see how well that goes. Obviously everything is going to be purple here and right now for Hayden, being it's the first lap being set, and after that I think we'll be trying to keep an eye and see who's going to be getting the fastest lap in the session. Of course, qualifying 1 basic aim just to get over into qualifying 2, but they do have to make the best possible time just to keep themselves out of getting eliminated off the session. So let's see how many drivers are able to make it on over. We might have a few join up before the end of qualifying. I think one driver is about being about 10 minutes late. I'm not sure. I didn't really keep up in the Discord, see what's going on, but we should have maybe 1 or 2 more drivers join on before the race session is set to get started with, so we'll see how that's going to go. Seems to be going pretty well so far for Hayden getting through on his lap. Didn't really see him lose much time through the sectors as he got through, so let's see what the lap time does look like and how well it actually is going to hold up with the rest of the grid coming behind of him. I know there's another car coming behind, but I got to try and see who that is at the moment. Probably is Harry, I'm not sure. I think there's a Haas coming just behind that as well. Alright, a 136.4 doesn't seem too bad so far, but let's see what the next lap time coming in is going to be. And that's Harry with a 135.5. I think Julian Santi might be the next driver going across. Does a 136.1, so we're keeping it right around the 135 or 136 area for now at least, for Q1. We might get into the 134s maybe after the end of the session or going off to Q2 or Q3. Well, it depends on how track is going as well. We'll see how that works out. But quite a few more drivers on their laps right now, so let's see who's going to be next to finish. Might be a Williams, and that is Night Shadow 137.7. Not overly bad, just put him in 4th at least for now. I know Racing Point is coming next, which has to be Liverpool coming around, and his teammate coming behind of him. Does seem to be slowing down quite a bit as getting past that lap, so let's see, might not be doing a second lap on the set of tires. So 136.1 for him puts him up into P3. Where does his teammate go though if he does finish a lap? Okay, his teammate goes up with a 136.8 into 5th. I think that will hold at least for now. Got Andy coming around. I think he's out to finish off sector 3. Might get a girl, maybe a 136 or 130. Actually, no, a little worse than that, a 139.2. So not the best lap for him, so he's going to have to really try that one again. Hopefully gets a faster time in. Guess we have quite a few more drivers that are going to try and get their laps in here right now. Octavian Racer getting started on his hot lap, getting around in the Red Bull. Usually has some pretty good lap times from him for the past few races we've seen him. So let's see how well he does perform on this track here. Not every driver is as confident on this track as most others, being a street circuit and whatnot, so a little more difficult for them. I guess depending on the how much practice they actually had coming into this race. I think for the race itself, it's going to be a bit interesting to see how turn 1, 2, and maybe turn 3 as well is going to go on opening lap. But for now, I think we're going to focus just on the qualifying lap, see how the starting grid is going to look like by the time we get down to that point there in qualifying 3 at least with our top 10. So far looking pretty good with the lap times, not too bad, not too spaced off, mostly in the 136. So might just be where they're planning to just set themselves up for now at least. Haven't seen a few drivers left the pit as yet. Maybe they're probably just waiting for the track to get a bit rougher in before getting out. As the race lane probably get a little bit more warmed up by the time they get out, so maybe that's what they're hoping for, trying to get some sort of advantage out of that. We'll see how that works. And that's an invalidated lap for Octavian Racer. We'll have to try it again. Of course, time is going to be a limited factor on this one here with about 10.5 minutes left. And it takes about a minute and a half to get around the track, so they have to average at least just over 3 minutes or 3 minutes 10 seconds at least to get out and get around in time to finish a lap and possibly get a second one going if needed. Alright, Rizzle is currently on an out lap on his horse. I see J Hartnell is currently on a lap right now. I think he's in sector 2. Yep, he is right now, so let's see how his lap is going. Alright, so a lot of twists and turns around the track, so this is why drivers do have to be very, very careful. And being it is a night race, they're, I mean, it's a little bit different. We don't have a lot of night races on the calendar, but still a lot of fun to watch on our end. I'm not sure how much fun it is for the drivers right now. You know, driving around, especially a track like this, they have to get a lot of practice in just to avoid clipping part of the front wings off, especially corners like this. So this is where braking zones will be extremely important for them. I think a few more lap times are coming in as we go on with that. So Harry still holds on to fastest lap 135.5, and Scrace goes on second at 136.078. So only 135 we do have right now is from Harry there, so I think he's going to hold up pretty well with that. That might actually just be enough for him. Racing Point takes away second at 135.7. Just about 2/10 off for Harry's time, so not too bad with that so far. Santi goes on to fourth with that now, 136.1. Liverpool down to fifth to 136.1 as well. About a 400 of a second time difference between the two of them, so not too bad so far. Does seem to be a bit competitive even here in Q1. We'll see how the session finishes off though. Still the 16 drivers in. Haven't seen anyone else joined on as yet. If they did join at this point, they would still have enough time to get a lap in and hopefully get themselves over to Q2. Let's see, finally Safdar is out on a lap. Usually has some good laps out of him. We'll see where his lap time is going to go by the time he finishes. I'm not sure where he's on track right now. Oh, I think I see it now in sector 2, but seems to be in a bit of traffic there. Trying to have a look at that right now. He is in a bit of traffic, so not actually on a hot lap at the moment. Anyway, let's see how that gets finishes off for him. You got Rizzle getting through that same traffic right now. I think Sabda trying to get out of the way, so hopefully he does get out of the way actually, so that's going to be fine for this one. Because I think they want to avoid getting any extra penalties, especially for this race, as it is a little more difficult to overtake on this track rather than any other regular track. A little bit similar to Monaco, but not as tough as it is there. So there are quite a few overtaking opportunities on the Singapore circuit, but they're going to have to be a bit careful about it. Yes, either way, yes, the walls are very close off, so we're going to see how that works for them. I think Softar is now actually going to get started on a lap here, so let's see how that's going to go for him. Previous lap was a bit invalidated and a bit slow on that. Did hit a bit of traffic with it. See Dixon there also on a lap, so we're going to see where he finishes off. I think he's in sector 3 right now, actually. Probably have a look and see where he is at the moment. And his teammate currently in 8th with a 136.4. Not sure if Mercedes is going to be happy with that time that they're getting in so far. Or could just make it over to qualifying 2. It might just be the main aim, but you know, let's see where they do stand at the end of qualifying 1. Okay, so hopefully we do have BX37 joining on the session. Before the end of qualifying 1, he might still be able to get a time in and keep himself in the qualifying session going off to Q2 and Q3. So far so good in the session. As you can see, Harry still holds on to P1. Big Wasn't Racing Point in P2, 125.7, still about 2 tenths. I've actually gone down about a position there now. Softar goes up 125.566 and just about 100 of a second off of Harry's time. So that's actually quite impressive for the 2 out front. An invalidated lap from Dixon, just actually noticing that. Rizzle back into the pits, didn't finish his lap, so we'll see how that's going. Sadistic on an out lap, finally I think on his first out lap on the track, so let's see where his lap time is going to stand. Alright, so there we have it. BX37 has joined on the session. That's going to give us 17 drivers to go into the race with. And he is slowing down here, so let's see, he's trying to get his lap started. But I think he's trying to avoid the traffic that's coming through here right now. Does have another Renault coming behind of him. I think he's probably just waiting for that to get by. Who is currently on a lap right now? Let's have a look here. I think Matt here is on a lap. I'm not sure how fast of a lap he's on because he's getting around some traffic as well. It's the one thing about Singapore, do tend to have a lot of traffic, especially in qualifying 1. Would have been a bit more actually if we did have a full grid of 20 cars on here. So it's 16 so far and 1 currently getting to join on right now. We'll see how that's going to go. I'm not sure if he'll be able to make a time in before he gets in. And there he goes. He's in the session there right now. So he's in the pits currently. Let's see if he's going to be getting out and getting a lap time in. Knowing BX37, I think he might get out and get a time in. We'll see how that works about. Let's see if he does have a qualifying ban, which I'm not aware of at this point. But lap time's looking pretty good so far. 125.5, still the fastest time in the session. I think Harry has made a second time from that lap coming to now. So Softar now second fastest. And the 2 of them just holding off in the 125. Quite a few more. We got about 2 more. So Racing Point there at 125.7. Temp goes 125.743. Just literally 100 of a second time difference. So quite close between top 4 drivers as it is so far. Straight starts out 55 at a 136. And about a tenth off, we do have Santi behind in 6th. Liverpool about 400 of a second behind in 7th. So still quite close. Even for just qualifying 1. Getting a bit interesting. Let's see how the rest of the session will go. Alright, so Sadistic just did a purple sector 1 on this current lap that he's trying here. Let's have a look and see how the rest of it is going to go. It's going to come off to the end of sector 2 pretty shortly. Well, let's see if that's going to be a purple one as well. He might be able to get himself up into the top 5 here, at least for the standings here for Q1. So let's see how that goes, provided he doesn't invalidate the current lap here though. And J Hart now has retired off the session with a 126.2. I think he might be just quite happy with that. That would probably just hold him off into the next session. So has Liverpool, so they're out as well. coming out to just about 2.5 minutes. So most of the drivers will start to retire off of the qualifying session just because they know their lap times are getting them over into the next session with only 17 drivers in. So let's see how that's going to work out by the time we get on to the results for this one here. I think most of our drivers at the top of the board are going to be retiring off for now at least. Alright, so this guy, I don't think he got a purple sector 2, so was bad in that sector and probably not the best sector 3 times, so just did a 137.4. He might be trying for another lap, I'm not sure, on the same set of tires. We'll have a look. BX37 in the Williams out on track already, so probably just with one chance to get a lap in. He might have a second go on that same set of tires if time does allow it at the end of this lap, we'll see. So he's going to have to just be a bit careful not to invalidate the lap, just to avoid having to do an extra lap on the same set of tires, and let's see if that's going to work though. Really wouldn't matter how much laps he does on it, but I think he might want to get this on the first go just to avoid having to do another lap again and cutting it quite close to the end of the session, down to just under a minute and a half already. And he does mess that lap up, so I'm not sure if he took any damage on the car. If he did take any damage, I think that's going to probably be it. And we're trying to have a look right now. I don't see like any end plates are missing. I think he has the entire front wing on still, so he seems to be good to go for another lap. Has enough time, has about a minute to get around to the finish line to get across the line here more. And Rizzle has not made a lap time, and he's back into the pits, which means he's not going to get a lap in. Probably going to be out of qualifying 2 there. Dixon still trying to get a lap in. Purple sector 2. Not sure if sector 1 was purple, but purple sector 2 does show a good sign. He's probably on a good lap getting through. I think this point anything 136.5 and better would just about do it here right now. So hopefully he can get that in. Unfortunate for Rizzle though, I don't think he's going to get another lap in. He's out of that session. They're already back into the pit, so no lap time for him. Will be out of qualifying 2 and 3. And that is Dixon fastest lap now in the session at 134.4. Goes about a whole second faster, a second and a 10 faster actually than what Harry did there in the 135.5. So very impressive lap out for him. And might be on top for the rest of the qualifying session if he can keep that up. We'll see how well it's going to go. BX37 just doing a purple sector 1 though. And qualifying 1 officially over here right now, just in overtime for whoever's currently running a lap. And I don't think that's a lot of drivers out. Octavian Racer probably still on a lap there right now. Dixon is on an in lap getting back into the pits there right now. Highly doubt he's doing another lap on that set of tires. Unless he's somehow worried about BX37 getting ahead of him. But of course it's not qualifying 3 as yet, so I don't think he needs to be too worried about that. Even if he goes into qualifying 2 and second on the grid, that's fine. We'll see how that's going to work for it right now, because BX37 is still getting through. I'm not sure if he had a proper sector to really even pay attention to that part of it, but I don't think he did. He still could get ahead if he does do a proper sector 3, just depending on how bad that sector 2 time was. Getting a bit close to the wall, but let's see how this goes as he gets around final turn across the line. And I think that's going to be it for the qualifying session itself. Goes 12th on the grid, so not the best sector 2 and sector 3 time off for him, but still will hold him off into the next session, so not too bad. Where is Octavian Race on track? And I think he's finished now. He's gone up to 6th on the grid with a 135.8. Not too bad in the Red Bull. I think the winning driver left running on track right now is Dixon, getting back into the pits there. So hopefully, I don't know if he's going to go across the line or get into the pits. So we're going to have to wait at least maybe another 30 seconds or so, depending on what he is trying to do out there. Now he's going back into the pits, so we're going to have to just wait on him to finish off with that. Either way, that's going to be the end of qualifying 1. We're going to have a look at the results here right now before getting straight into qualifying 2. And let's see what's going to happen there, because we're going to start to get a bit competitive with that, because it's going to be the top 10 from that session going over to Q3. Alright, so Mercedes take fastest lap and down 134.4. Ferrari goes second fastest with 135.5. Renault as well at 135.5. Not too bad, but how many drivers do make it on over? Alright, so we do have top 15 going over still. So 2 drivers out, Matt and Rizla, going to be out of that one, at least for qualifying 2. Lap time is not too bad. Worst we have is a 134.74, and the best I think we have is a 134.4 off of Dixon, so not too bad time at all. And I think Harry and Safdar might try to get a bit closer to that going into qualifying 2, but let's see what's going to go. We're going to head straight to that right now. Okay, so into qualifying 2, I think our clock should start. There we go. So 15 minutes down on the clock right now. Let's see what's going to happen here. Remember, guys, whoever makes, well, it's going to be for top 10. That's just going to apply. But whatever lap they do, their fastest, whatever tires, sorry, they do the fastest laps, and they will have to just start the race on that in for the opening lap. That's provided they make it over to qualifying 3, of course. And we do have a dry race start. I'm not sure what the weather conditions are going to be like for the race start as yet. Haven't heard any details about that, but let's see what's going to happen there. We're going to put this on best so we can see what set of tires these guys are going to be running on here for qualifying 2. So 14 drivers in. Let's see how it's going to go here right now. So we already got quite a few cars heading out the track to get their out lap started. So I think we're currently on the Safdar. He might be just in front. So he got in front of that Alfa Romeo that was running. I think was coming out to the pits in front of him. So he might be the first to set a lap in this one here. So fastest we had was a 134.4 in Q1. Let's see what's going to happen here, because they're going to be pushing as much as they can in this session. Of course, they're going to have to just be a bit careful as well to avoid invalidated laps and DNFing the car in the session, because that's one of the worst possible things that can happen at this point. So they're going to have to just be careful with that and try to get the best possible time in on whatever set of tires they want to be starting the race on. So let's see how that's going to work out. Always a bit tricky getting around some of these turns. You have to just be a bit careful about it. So I think we're going to start to see a few lap times come in, maybe one after the other. Trying to have a look who is behind. Oh, is that Sadistic behind him there right now? So him and Sadistic, Safdar and Sadistic quite close off together on the out lap right now. Let's see if they're going to give each other some space by the time they're ready to get started on the hot lap, just not to get too close off to each other there. Alright, so it should be getting started here right now. And keep an eye on Safdar, see how this current lap is going to go for him. So we're aiming right around the 134s and 135s at this point here in the session to see where everyone's going to be at by the time we close out the session. So hopefully have a pretty strong grid going into qualifying 3. If we do get any word on the weather conditions for the race, I'll let you guys know. But so far, I'm not sure what it's going to be, but it might just be a dry session with the way things seem here at the moment. But we never know what can change around, but we're just going to wait and see what that's going to be like. So quite a few cars on their hot laps here at the moment, and that's an invalidated lap there for Safdar so far. So probably just switch it on over to Sadistic there. He was running just behind of that. Currently in sector 2 of the track and getting around. They're already down to about 11.5 minutes here in qualifying 2. So time is going to start to go away very, very quickly from us, and these guys are going to have to get a move on with it just to get their lap times in. As you can see, some of them attempted to do this on the mediums, some are going to attempt to do it on the softs. We're going to see what the strategy play is going to be by the time they're ready to get into the race session itself. Alright, so I think we're getting right around to that point to start to see some lap times in, which we've been waiting for the past 4.5 minutes. since the session actually started there, so we should be getting to that right now. Okay, so we got statistic coming around the final turn, and he has not invalidated that lap. So goes 142. Not the best of lap there right now. So let's see what the rest of the grid are going to be at when they get across here. And that is Jay Harton with a 137.7 so far. Harry now goes 135.5, right around where he was there in Q1. So actually quite consistent, gotta say with that, so that's not a bad sign from him. Alright, I think we got Santi about to get across the line here right now. He's going back into the pits, I think. So I don't think his lap was going the way he wanted. He's going to get back into the pits. Do have a Mercedes, and I think that's Hayden getting across next. That's second up for him right now, 136.6, and both him and Harry have done this on the medium, so quite interesting to see the way things are there right now. And who's going to be next to get around? Might be Squares getting started on his lap there right now. I think we got a Williams coming in next. Might be Night Shadow getting across. Goes third fastest, 137.3 on the mediums as well. So we can see at where the strategy play might be heading towards here right now, but we'll talk a bit more about that as we get off to the rest of the session. Where is Dixon on track right now? Is he coming across? No, he's getting back into the pits right now. That's Octavian Racer up to third now, puts Night Shadow down to fourth. He's with a 136.8. Hayden goes third. No, Thames goes second, sorry. Now pushes everyone down, 125.8. 3/10 off of Harry's time, so not too bad so far. So things are getting a bit interesting in this session here right now. Racing Point of Big Balls here. He is not doing the best of lap here right now. Teammate Liverpool seems to be on a fast lap going through sector 2. And I think we do have Savdar finally trying to finish up. No, that's not him trying to finish up. I think that's his teammate Andy on an out lap. So we'll switch him back over to Liverpool. The team might be the next car to finish a lap here. Alright, so that's Liverpool up to fourth now, pushing the rest of the grid down, 136.8 from him. So 135.5 for fastest lap in this session, 135.8 second with Thames, 136.6 with Hayden, 136.8 Squares, Liverpool 136.849. 9,000th of a second time difference. Quite impressive between the two of them. We'll see the rest of the grid is coming around here right away. Sabra, I think he validated his lap once again, so he's not on a good lap right now. His teammate Andy though on a lap right now in sector 2 of the track. Trying to see where he's going to be at the end of this, and gets a bit of a tap on the wall, so might have maybe lost a bit of front wing, I'm not sure. He does seem to be fine so far, so maybe just a minor tap. Probably twisted a bit of that front wing though, I'm not sure. Dixon on another out lap right now, so we'll see what's going to go on with him. Santi as well on an out lap there. But so far so good, at least with half of the grid with the lap times we're seeing so far. I think T. Hartnell is out on another lap, so his statistic trying to improve that first 2 laps that they put in there each, and Andy's up to 9th right now, 138.9. Not sure how well that's going to hold up going to the end of this session. We'll see what's going to happen there. So still at least I can see top 6 cars from 136 going all the way high up to 135.5. I think that's going to hold up pretty well. We'll see how the rest of the grid comes in when they do get our laps in. So Dixon on now on a hot lap going through, using up as much of the track here as he can, as you can see. Let's stay on board with him through this lap and see exactly what sort of line he's taking on his qualifying lap. I know there are some drivers that do have a different line they use on the qualifying lap rather than the line that they use on their in the race itself. That's a purple sector 1 so far for Dixon, and he's running this on mediums right now. His previous lap I think was on soft. but was not working out. But I think he's pushing for a strategy towards starting the race on the mediums here right now. Currently, as we have a majority of our cars have done those laps on the mediums, except for Temp Shadow there. He's done it on the softs and did a 135.8 on that. So still puts him up into P2 for the session, but does mean he will have to start the race and be in quite a different strategy from other cars around him, with most of our cars currently doing laps on the mediums as it is. So going to be an interesting strategy play. We'll see how this works out. We got just about 5.5 minutes, just under 5.5 minutes left here in qualifying 2. Still waiting for Dixon to finish off this current lap to see where he's going to be at the end of this. And T. Hartnell out of the session. Not sure if he retired or something happened there. That's a 134.7 off of Dixon. Fastest lap in the session so far, so that's going to hold up pretty well with him. Sofdar on another out lap right now. I think we do have Sadistic on a fast lap going through, so let's see where he finishes off this current lap. R2 sector 3 is about to get through. Let's see how this lap is going to hold up. Looks like a decent lap so far, so it might actually push him a few positions up here right now. He does need to get into the top 10 to make it on over to qualifying 3 at this point. And we got just under 4 minutes left in the session right now, so coming very close after the end of it at this point. And let's see, that is not the best of lap because he's still with a 137.8 there. Let's see who is currently on a lap here. I think no, Big Boss is going back into the pits, and he's currently up to P5 at a 136.6, a 136.698, and 136.639 for Hayden. About 600 of a second time difference, so quite close between quite a few cars on the grid. Does mean that we'll have quite an exciting race to get once we get started at that point. We still got to get through qualifying 3, which should be a little more interesting than this, provided it's going to be a dry session as well. But Temp Shadow now down to P3 on the grid here with a 135.8 that he had. 2 drivers faster than him, and both on the mediums on the slower tire and still doing a faster lap. Just goes to show how fast they are going in this session. Where is Hayden on track? Is he doing a fast lap here or not? I'm gonna have a look right now. His teammate is currently P1 on the grid as we have it with the fastest time 134.7. So he does need to start showing some performance out of that Mercedes at the moment here. Harry is retired off the session with a 125.5. Get the yellow flag all around at the moment, but I think that's not stopping Hayden here. Let's see how he's getting through that. And we have even more drivers are retiring off the session right now because we're getting off to that close of it. So just about 2 minutes, about 2 minutes 10 seconds left right now. Alright, that's Hayden back into the pits there, I think. So let's have a look down at the bottom of the grid, see what's happening. We got Santio on a out lap, we got Sofdar on a hot lap. So as it stands right now, we got Sadistic, Andy, Sofdar, and Santio about to get knocked off of the next session if they're not able to make a faster time in. I know Sadistic is back into the pits. J. Hartnell already out of the session, so he might be getting pushed down and out of qualifying 3 as it stands right now. Andy and Sofdar, both Renaults in the drop zone at the moment, and they do need to get back up there if possible. Both of them currently on a lap, just behind each other and running. Santi just in front of them, so I'm going to probably keep on with him here and see what's going to happen. Doesn't look like Sadistic is going to be able to get a faster time in, so he probably will be out of Q3 at this point, and he's already retired off the session, not even going to attempt to try and get around because not enough time to actually do that, because we're already down to about 1:15 seconds left. So I think we're just focusing on both Renaults and the Haas of Santi down at the bottom of the grid to see if they're going to be able to push themselves up into the top 10 to get over to Q3 at this point here right now. That's already going to mean statistic is already out, so J Hartnell might be out as well. Trying to see what's going to happen with that. I know Night Shadow and Temp Shadow might be running a lap still. So far, Santi seems to be running pretty well at purple sector 2. I think sector 1 was not in the purple though, so let's see how that's going to work for him. And he's not risking anything right now. Doing this on the soft, so even trying to get a fast time into just making that over to Q3 at this point here. Doesn't want to be starting somewhere down there in 14th on the grid. Oh, it's about to get across the line. I mean, then we got both runners coming behind him, so let's see where he goes. Goes P4 136.030. That's going to hold up pretty well. Andy goes into P5 136.3. Where is Safdar on track? Alright, he's about to get across here right now. Let's see if he does get an improved time. And he does get an improved time up to P2 on the grid 135.5. And just about 100 of a second faster than what Harry did, so that's going to hold up pretty well. So far as this team's Octavian race on Night Shadow, J Hartnell and Sadistic probably going to be out of Q3 at this point here. I think we have Night Shadow still running a lap. Let's have a look here right now. If he does get a faster time, I mean, that's going to push Liverpool out of the top 10, which means only one racing point is going to be left in. So let's see if he's going to be able to accomplish this or not. He needs to get something faster than a 136.8 at this point here. And he doesn't seem to be moving that fast to even try to get that right now. So I don't think he's going to get it. Because he is slowing down quite significantly in most of the corners here right now. I don't think he's fighting for a fast lap. He's just going back into the pits right now. Yep, so I think that's going to be it there for Q2 as it is. So let's see our top 10 that doesn't make it on over to the next session and how this is going to work out here. So I think we got everyone back into the pits, just waiting for the cars to get into the garage before we can get out the session. Probably another 10 to 15 seconds or so for Santi's car to get in. Alright, so far so not too bad with the qualifying times, both for Q1 and even for Q2 has gotten quite a bit more competitive here in Q2, especially with most of the cars being on the mediums here right now. We got just about 3 drivers. I think Tem, Santi, and Andy have done this on the softs, so they're going to be running a bit of a different strategy, probably trying a 2-stop strategy, I assume, going into this race, and might be a 1-stop strategy for most of the other drivers doing this on the mediums, because they might be doing a medium hard strategy to go after the end of the race. We're going to see how that works out with the race distance itself. Alright, so top 10 as we have it. Dixon fastest lap in the session 134.7, Savdar second fastest 135.5, and that's 583. Harry third fastest at 135.595. Little 100 of a second time difference, not too bad. Temp Shadow in 4th, Santi in 5th, Andy in 6th. We got Hayden 7, Rebels in 8th. We got Chris in 9, Liverpool in 10th, and Brady makes it in, so that's both racing point into the next session. Octavian Racer will have to start 11th, Night Shadow will start 12th, J Hartnell will start 13th, and looks like Sadistic is going to have to start 14th there. Alright, so I think that's it for Q2. We're going to head off into Q3 right now. We're at about 12 minutes for that session, not a very long time. Probably give them about 2 hot laps each, maybe 3 if they can pull it off. And we'll see how that's going to work out with the qualifying times, just getting ready for the starting grid itself, and see who's going to be on top with that one there. I'll keep lap data on for this one. I assume everyone's going to be running on soft tires, so we're not even going to keep that on. I think we're just waiting to see who's going to be first to get out on track here for Q3, but so far so good in the entire qualifying session. So Q3 expected to be a bit more competitive as well. We might see a few more 134s coming off of the lap times. We'll see how it goes. Looks like a Ferrari might be the first one to get out. And that is, I think, Harry getting out first. Yep, it is Harry in the Ferrari getting out first. I think this is the first race I'm seeing him race in here for at least for SNS Esports. So let's see how he performs here. So far, he's doing pretty well in qualifying 1, qualifying 2, making it out over to qualifying 3. So not too bad with that. And he might just be letting everyone get by to get quite a clear track to run with. I'm not sure what his plan is here, but let's see how that's going, because I think almost every car except for Savdar and Chris is currently out on track. I think actually Savdar is out as well. So Chris there in the Alpha Tauri is the only car left in the pits at this point. Not even sure who's running out front. Might be Santi running out front. Yep, it is. So he might be the first one to set a lap time in, depending on how this is going here. Yep, we just get just about every car out on track except for Chris right now. So 9 cars running. Still a busy track at the moment as they have it, because with it being so narrow and whatnot. So let's see how the lap times are going to be as soon as they start to come in. I think we got to wait about at least 2 more minutes before we do start to see some times in. So we're getting a bit more closer to that race start right now to see how the opening lap is going to go. Definitely do expect that we will see a virtual safety car in this race, maybe more than one. When it comes down to safety car, we might see 1 or 2 of those as well. It does depend on how much these guys are going to be pushing on through in the race itself and trying to get these overtakes done, and we just might have some forced incidents into that race start itself. So we'll have to see how that goes, but opening lap, we do expect a lot of contact between cars going through the first few turns, and at least later on in the race we might see that safety car come out, so we'll see how that goes. We'll probably go through the standings as it is. I see it has been updated earlier on today, so we do have that to go through a little bit later on in the race. If we do come around to a safety car or a VSC, we'll probably use that as a bit of an advantage to go through it and see where the league is at this point here, as this is currently round 9 of 22 for tier 1. It has been quite an interesting 9 races so far, I gotta say, so don't look forward to it getting a bit more interesting here. Being the Singapore Grand Prix, should be a lot of fun to watch this one. Under the lights itself, there are colorful lights as you can see around the track. I assume we still have that bit of a glitch that does happen with the leaderboards and the start of a race. I don't know how much people actually care about that anymore still with the new game being released and whatnot, but we'll see what's going to happen. Probably still there. At least from the last stream I didn't know it was still there, so let's see what's going to happen with it. Our first lap time about to come in, and let's see, it's a 1:35.9 coming off of Santi so far. We got Dixon now, the 1:34.8 goes fastest in the session. That's provisional pole for him. That's going to be taken away might be in a bit later on in the session. Liverpool third fastest, 1:36.1, 1:36.162 for Hayden in fourth. And who is next to get around? We got a Racing Point coming around. That is probably big cars going through. Second fastest for him, 1:35.058. Why does that Renault of Savdar sound so weird for a second? I think his teammate is getting back into the pits, not finishing that lap. We'd probably have either Harry or Temp in front of Savdar right. I'm not sure which one it was. That was Temp there, 1:35.7 into third with him. Savdar now goes fastest, 1:34.6, 2/10 faster than Dixon's time. And then we got Harry coming around, going 1:58.5, not the best of lap there. So Chris and Andy still yet to make lap times in. They're both back into the pits. I think all of these cars are probably going to be getting back into the pit lane right now and then getting on a fresh set of softs to get back out to try for another lap again. But as it stands right now, 6 minutes 50 seconds left. We got Savdar fastest lap. That provisional pole start for him for the Singapore Grand Prix on 1:34.6. Let's see if that's going to hold off to the end of the session. He might be pretty happy if that actually does hold. Dixon currently second fastest, 1:34.8. And Big Boss currently third fastest, 1:35.058 with him. These two drivers in the 124 so far, not too bad. Tem, their fourth fastest, 135.7. Sandy, fifth fastest, 135.9. Liverpool, sixth fastest, 136.141. Another 200 per second slow. We got Hayden in seventh, and Harry there in eighth at 158.5. Everyone getting back into the pits right now, so we're just waiting for Andy and Chris to get out on track. Trying to see when they're going to decide to get out here right now. Because at this moment I don't see either of them making an attempt to get out. Oh, there we go. Andy is getting out on track right now, back out. He did come out with the first group that came out early on, but didn't get to finish his hot lap. Just went back into the pits, probably messed that up just a bit. Waiting for our last driver, there's Chris, to make an exit from that pit. I'm not sure, does he have a qualifying ban I'm not aware of? I'm not sure. There are specific bans that they apply to the league. Sometimes they do get a Q3 ban for an incident in the previous race or whatnot. So I'm not sure if that is the case here, because he's definitely not getting out. Okay, so we're going to have a chance to check to see if Chris does have a Q3 ban, but either way, let's see if he will get out to the pits later on or not, or probably just, if he doesn't get out, I'll probably assume something's going on, I'm not sure. But anyway, Andy's out. The rest of the grid will be getting back out in just a bit to try at least for one more lap before the end of qualifying 3 to see if they can get a better time in. This is all about getting provisional pole for the start of the Singapore Grand Prix at this point here right now, which they're looking forward to. Savdar pretty happy at this point. I'm not sure how happy Dixon is going to be there in second or Big Balls there in third. They might try to fight it off and get a faster lap in, especially with Dixon there with a 134.8. He knows he's pretty close off to Savdar's time, so definitely has a chance of getting a better time in. Harry there 136 right now, and he does have the ability to get a faster time in. Being I think it's his first race so far with SNS Esports, he does want to provide a good impression. Starting on pole might be a good way to get started with that, but at least making it into the top 10, I would call that a win so far for him, but he does need to get through this race and show the league what he can do at this point, so we're going to see how well he performs here. Alright, so we do see a few other cars trying to get out on track here right now, so we'll see how that's going to work out. I think he might have touched the wall just a little bit, I'm not sure. Camera angles are not as adjustable on this track as you would expect. So sometimes we do have to just work with what we get off of the game, so let's see how it's going. Gets around here right now, should get maybe the top 5. And does he get a time in? 136.6. Not the best of time there right now. Puts him in P9 as Chris has retired after the session. So he's not participating in Q3. Probably does have a Q3 ban. I'm not sure about it. But either way, I'm going to let that be. So at least we're focusing with the 9 drivers currently trying to fight out. So Chris will start in 10th in that case. I think Andy might try another. He is trying another lap right now on that same set of tires there, rather than go in and get back out, which I don't think he has enough time for at this point here right now. Hayden on another lap here as well. Now we know he can make a faster time, so let's see how much more faster he can go by the time he closes off the Q3. Got just under 2 minutes left right now, so not a lot of time for them to work with. And getting very close after that race start, which we are looking forward to see how well that's going to go in terms of safety cars and VSCs. I think most of our other cars are starting back. They're hot laps there right now. But I think we're going to finish off with Andy and Hayden here right now. See where the two of them are going to be. And that's an invalidated lap right now from the Renault. And lost his entire front wing. Probably a bit frustrated here in qualifying 3. Not going to be too happy about that. And he has destroyed the entire car. So that's going to be it for him. Left a bit of debris on track there. Hopefully that's not affecting Hayden getting around on his lap. So that's going to be a P9 start there for Andy as Hayden goes across the line here right now. And what is going to be his lap time? 1:36.1 fastest. That's what he got. And doesn't look like he's going to get another time. So he's probably going to be starting there in 8 as it is right now. We're going to go on up here. See what's happening with Safdar right now. Where on track is he? And did he do an even faster lap? I'm not sure because there's currently still a 1:30. No, I think he's gotten started on that lap there right now. A 1:34.6 so far for him. Dixon on a lap at once in front of him, so let's see what's happening with that. So Dixon on a purple sector 2 at 1:34.8. He's only about 2/10 off of the time so far. Let's see if he's able to improve that and probably get him and get up into a provisional pole start for this one. Of course, second is not a bad place to be starting from here at Singapore, but it does depend on the driver. They might want that one more position up. Alright, so 1:34.8 and goes faster now, 1:33.4, and unfortunate that's the end of qualifying 3. So Dixon currently on provisional pole there with a 1:33.4, and that's going to be pretty hard to beat, being that Safdar is out of time right now. So all he has to do is finish up this lap, which I don't know if it's going to be a faster lap here. But let's still keep an eye on him and see what's happening. Big Boss coming just behind that as well with a 1:35.0. And doesn't get a faster lap in, so that's going to be it for him. Let's see if the rest of the drivers behind are going to get better times or not. Hayden just in front of this and might be trying to get a time in. I'm not sure if he's trying to get a faster time in or not. Going back to the racing point of Big Boss right now, see where he's going to be. I just need to have him finish sector 3, and let's see if Safdar will be holding on to at least second for the start of the Singapore Grand Prix as it is. Still a few more drivers coming behind, so he's still at risk actually of losing that position. And Hayden back into the pit, so he's not getting faster time in. And that's Safdar down to third on the grid right now, so Racing Point to Big Boss goes up to P3 now, because Harry now takes away second. He's still on a podium position for the start. So a lot of 134s as we have it. A lot of 134s forced. All top 3 cars in that position, just off by a few hundred per second from each other as it is so far. I think Dem Shadow might be the only one left to get across, and that's going to be it. And he's invalidated a lap, so not getting a better time in. And looks like it is going to be Dixon starting on pole for the Singapore Grand Prix. That time has held up pretty well, a 1:33.456. Harry in second with a 1:34.435. About 200 a second time difference, not too bad with that. Big Boss in P3 with a 1:34.497, about just a few hundred more second more. Alright, so interesting qualifying 3. We're going to have a look at the final result before getting off over to the restart itself. Alright, so with the lap times, not too bad as it is. I think Grace did have a qualifying ban for now, which is why he didn't participate in the session. So Dixon starting on pole with the 1:33.456, not too bad with that for Mercedes. Harry, they're starting in second at 1:34.4 as it is. And I think no one else actually got into the 1:33s except for Dixon. And Big Boss will start P3 in the Racing Point 1:34.497. Safdar unfortunately has to start 4th. Didn't get a chance to make another lap in 1:34.6. Still not a bad position. Sandy starting 5th. Temple starts 6th. Liverpool 7th. Hayden 8th. Andy in 9th. And Scrapes will have to start there in 11th as it is there right now in the AlphaTauri. But not a bad position for him. Still can make up quite a few positions on the opening lap, which we will be getting to in just about a minute times or so. Okay, so getting started on the formation lap here right now, which will give us a chance to get through the entire starting grid as it is there right now. So 17 drivers on the grid for the start of the Singapore Grand Prix. It is for SNS Esports Tier 1, round 9 of 22. And it's going to be a 31 lap race around the track and under the lights as well. So going to be a bit interesting to see how that's going to work out. Dixon starting P1 on the grid there. We got Harry starting in second, Big Boss starting third, we got Salvador starting fourth. Didn't get to make a better time to get that in, but Sandy starting fifth, Temp starting sixth, Liverpool is going to be 7, got Hayden 8, Andy 9th, Grayson 10, Octavian Racer unfortunately doesn't start 11, missed out on qualifying 3, so the 9th shadow there will be starting 12. Jay Hartnell starting 13, City 6 starts 14, we got Matt will start 15, Rizzle will start 16, and BX37 Pro, who joined on at the last minute, will be starting 17 on the grid. So going to be looking forward to see how well that race start is about to go. Of course, telemetry will be putting on by the time we get DRS online and active with that. Let's have a look at tires as it is. So within the top 10 as we have is 7 cars starting on the mediums, 3 starting on the softs, and we got Santi Shadow, Temp Shadow, and Andy are the 3 who will be starting on the soft tires. Of course, they're running a bit of a different strategy. That's going to be a 2-stop strategy running for them most likely, as it seems. Seems like it's going to be a 1-stop strategy for the rest of the drivers starting on the mediums there. Of course, quite interestingly, we can see that Octavian Racer, G Hartnell, and Rizzle have chosen to start the race on the hard tires. They're going to have to avoid damage, as their strategy most likely is to run a 1-stop as well, running from the hards and going to the mediums to get on the faster tires down to the end of the race. So we'll see how that works out. But I do hope they have taken into account safety cars and whatnot in the session to see how that's going to work out as well. Alright, so we're going to leave this on position changes at least for the start of the race, at least for the opening lap, and then switch that over back to tires as we get through the rest of the race. And let's see if we will be seeing a safety car on the opening lap or not at this point right now. I expect probably a VSC maybe. I'm not sure if it's going to go to that point to get to a safety car. It all just depends on how clean the race start is about to go between these guys here, but they're quite close off to each other in terms of lap times, and they definitely will be pushing on through on the opening lap, trying to gain as much positions as they can. So let's see how that's going to work. If Dixon and Harry, if they're going to keep positions after the first lap or not, I'm not sure. But with Harry, they're having the inside going into turn 1. Going to be maybe a bit of an advantage to him. Dixon on the outside on the right hand side, but starting P1 just bit in front. So let's see if that's going to work out. That leaderboard might be getting mixed up as it is, so we're just going to be ignoring that if it does, and waiting for those lights to start to go off, and hopefully not having a race start glitch as we did, I think that was last week. And why does it seem like that's exactly what's happening here right now? So let's have maybe a wait for a minute or two and see what's happening with that.